Good evening, one. I'm Coach Les, and I'm going to be reading the book of Proverbs live on social media. And my goal in doing this is to make it available for people throughout the course of the month. I'm going to be I'll be doing book 1. I think I wrote in the notes that I'd be doing book 1 and 2, but I'm actually going to do book 1. Then I'm going to stop and start and do it again. So that way people can actually look at the opportunity of, in fact, I'm going to be able to delete, it looks like. Oh, perfect. So I'm actually going in and deleting right now as we're recording live. I love that. But it's only going to be book 1. And I chose to do this as I was getting started here. Crazy, I know. Inside of the fact that this way people they don't have to fast forward. Through chapter 1 to listen to chapter 2. And my goal is to make this available so that people can listen to this while they're driving, while they're working, and see an opportunity to have the audio Bible read by Coach Les. And people keep asking me to do recording, so I guess this is my opportunity. And I hope that you enjoy this. And thank you for your patience as I get started here. And we are saving changes, and here we are. Doesn't support, oh yes. Oh, well, it looks like I'm not going to be able to do it. Well, that was 3 minutes of interesting stuff and not being able to do it. The book of Proverbs. And this is from the King James Study Bible. The title, the book of Proverbs, provides its own title from 1:1. Though the Hebrew word mashal, translated proverb, has a much broader meaning than our English word. And we'll be able to see the note on that. In fact, I'm going to jump to it because it suggests it. The basic meaning of the Hebrew word for proverb is comparison. But it came to stand for a wide range of wise pronouncements, including the byword, lament, and thought-provoking saying. In the book of Proverbs, the word is used to refer to an aphorism or concise statement of a principle or to a discourse. The authorship. Though Solomon's name is traditionally attached to the entire book, it is clear from 22:17, 24:23, and 33 number 1 and 31:1 that unidentified wise men, as well as 2 who are identified, Agur and Lemuel, also shared in the composition of the book. There are 3 Solomonic collections in the book, 1:1, 10:1, and 25:1. Since Solomon authored most of the book, the attachment of his name to it is warranted. Date. Because most of the book was authored by Solomon, its contents should be dated in the middle of the 10th century BC. On the other hand, the book's final form could not have existed earlier than the time of Hezekiah, 700 BC, since Solomon's Proverbs were still being collected at that time. The interpretation and the purpose of the book of Proverbs. The purpose of this book is clearly to show the reader how to live life wisely or skillfully. As a matter of fact, the entire structure of the book is arranged to carry out this purpose. In the introduction, the title, purpose, and motto of the book are clearly spelled out. Beginning in 1:8, there are 10 consecutive exhortations or homilies, each beginning with the words, my son. In this series of exhortations, the Father sets before the Son what might well be called the theology of the two ways, the way of wisdom and the way of folly. These passages do not contain individual proverbs, but consist of brief, logical, argued treatises that serve to whet the Son's appetite to apply the actual proverbs, which begin at 10:1. The juxtaposition of such discourses in the same book with the two-line saying is common in the ancient Near Eastern wisdom literature. In 10:1, 20 all the way through to 22:16, there are 375 Proverbs of Solomon, each of which represents in some way the choice to be made between wisdom and folly. The remaining 284 verses are divided among several authors, but they likewise carry on the same theme. They're in an ordered flow of thought in the first 9 chapters of the book. But this is not true beginning at 10:1. The best way to study the latter section is by topics. A simple perusal of the subjects covered leaves the distinct impression that wisdom is prerequisite to skillful dealing in every area of life. Indeed, this is the very aim of the authors. These topics include the family, death, life, discretion, eating, enemies, the fear of the Lord, the fool, friendship, God, the heart or mind, the home, the king, knowledge, therefore, labor law, lazy people, love neighbors, peace, poverty, prayer, pride, riches, righteousness. These topics include the family, death, life, discretion, eating, enemies, the fear of the Lord, the fool, friendship, God, the heart or mind, the home, the king, knowledge, labor, law, lazy people, love neighbors, peace, poverty, prayer, pride, riches, righteousness, sex, shame, sin, sleep, soul, spirit, the tongue, trust, the wicked, wine, wisdom, women, and words. If one inculcates into his life moral discipline commanded in chapters 1 through 9 and masters the practical application of wisdom expressed in chapters 10 through 31, he will truly have an abundant and successful life. And I heard the other day from someone that is part of the reason I'm doing this is that in the reading and distinguishing of Proverbs, if you were to do it on the days of the month, so I'm going to be having to catch up because we are on day 5 and I'm going to do day 1 and day 2. And then I'll be back again tomorrow. The interesting thing about this is I've heard from multimillionaires and a billionaire that if you read the book of Proverbs on the days assigned every month and you keep doing it, don't ever stop, you will be financially risked above all else. The introduction. Here we go. Proverbs 1:1. A wise man will hear. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity, to give subtly to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion, A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. So when we look and we go into the notes, I've already read the first note. Wisdom is the key word of the book and basically means skill in living. If it is used in the Old Testament to refer to a physical skill such as tailoring, metalwork, and woodwork, spinning, engraving, and designing in warfare, used metaphorically, as in Proverbs, it refers to the skill to live life successfully. Instruction refers to moral discipline of one's life, not to classroom instruction. Understanding means the ability to distinguish between true and false, good and bad, what matters most and what does not matter at all. The third verse, wisdom, a different Hebrew word from that used in verse 2, means wise behavior, wise dealing, good sense. Justice is the same word as righteousness and refers to conformity to God's law. Judgment is a legal term used of a judge's verdict and refers to right behavior. Equity is fairness in one's dealing with others. The simple are naive young people open to any influence. Among the chief addresses in the book, knowledge means the apprehension of reality, including an experiential knowledge of God. Discretion refers to the power of formulating and carrying out the right measures. In the next sentence, the wise as well as the untaught can learn from this book. Chapter 1, verse 6, dark sayings is the term for riddles, or those thought-provoking sayings of the wise. And now we get into the beginning of knowledge. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament on grace monthly upon your head, and chains about thy neck. So looking at that, we have 3 verses. The fear of the Lord means submission to the Lord and his revelation. When one is afraid of something, he either runs from it or submits to it. The latter idea is in view here. It is a healthy fear, like the fear of electricity or the fear of one's parents, which causes one to act in an appropriate manner. The beginning does not mean that the fear of the Lord is left behind in the course of acquiring wisdom, but that it is the controlling principle of wisdom. Finally, verse 8, my son, begins the first of 10 similar discourses in which the father appeals to the son to listen to his counsel and choose wisdom over folly. The mention of the mother shows that the original setting of the book was the home, not the court or school. Verse 9, chains, about thy neck. That is an adornment or thing of beauty in one's life. The next brief break here is walk not in the way of sinners. My son, if sinners entice these, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole, as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil. That makes sense. Hmm. I'm going to reread some of this. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole, as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path. For their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privately for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners therefore. And here we really have just one note in the notes. Occasionally, the expression "my son" occurs within a discourse. The wise son rejects the invitation of criminals who promise wealth without work. The verse stresses the individual's responsibility to avoid the tempter's snare. So now we jump into wisdom cries in the streets. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates in the city. She uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you, because I have called and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when you fear your coming. And when your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord, they would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. The wisdom is personified here as a prophetess, calling in public places to everyone to come to her and learn. Three groups are especially singled out in the appeal: the simple ones or untaught, the scorners or scoffers, and the fools or morally dull. The consequences of rejecting wisdom are immense. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely in the heart. So there ends chapter 1. Hope you enjoyed it, everybody. Thank you all. And that is the end of this broadcast with a cool 18 minutes. Cheers. And we'll be back tomorrow with chapter 2.